I have been thinking about this video because I'm nervous that it could really bother some people and that it could be misinterpreted in a really bad way in people's lives. Hey, Pop. But the point of my channel is to educate people about avoidant personality disorder and possible treatments, and to sort of model a way of finding a better existence as a person with avoidant personality disorder. You see him waddling. Anyway, so how's that for a disclaimer? Here's what's been going on. And when I start talking about this, you'll see why I'm reluctant to actually say anything. Anyway, I have been going through a depression. They happen. Mine is clearly comorbid. I do not have a brain chemical imbalance, so medication doesn't work on me for my depressions when they come and go. It is situational because I live all by myself and, super isolated. And, people with avoidant personality disorder need people, and I don't have them. So it happens. And I've been coping with it really well, mostly because I'm super aware this is what's going on. I'm giving myself a break about it. I know what's happening. I know that it's going to end. I'm just sort of like trying to ride the wave for it to go. And I have been doing some things, probably not the right thing. I know that one of the reasons why this came on is because I'm working like crazy. I actually have 2 days off this week coming up, I think, unless I get, asked to work. But I'm scheduled 2 days off. That's amazing. When's the last time that happened? Well over a month. Anyway, that's an improvement. We'll see. I might be like so completely bored out of my mind and don't know what to do with myself when I'm not working anymore. This is a problem when you have things like avoidant personality disorder. It's like, I describe it as jumping off a cliff. You have this high stress level. It's very stressful and not good for you, but then there's no middle ground. It's just boom. It's not there, and it's just unsettling, and again, super alone on top of that. So it might not be as good a time as I think having 2 days off. I am kind of working toward improving the situation that caused the depression in the first place. And I'm doing other things as a distraction, entirely as a distraction technique. And so I'm reading a ton of books, stuff like that, but also I started a diet. Now, why I did the diet thing, one, really, truly, number one on the list, distraction. It's something to take my time, something, very concrete and finite that I can deal with. Like go on a diet for 2 weeks. Well, yeah, I can do that. And then sort of look at the numbers and add them up, and I can't stay on it because, again, I have a history of eating disorder and obsessiveness about it, and that's not good. And I have not fallen into that so far. And I won't. Anyway, it's been an okay distraction. For that reason, it's like, how should I put this? I've sort of kept myself really for the most part, see if I can talk, from falling into that super, morose depression where you're just absolutely miserable. And I think that the distractions are great for that. So then I sort of came across a really unexpected, but absolutely no question about it, result that I can't deny it, what has happened. So now that I've built it all up like that, I need to sort of backtrack. Now again, I know, come on Pop, let's go back. It's cold out here. I know that I have, my body reacts to food, I think, more than other people. I don't know, maybe it is normal and other people do this and they either just don't notice or they don't talk about it or whatever. First of all, I seem to really be reactive to chemical additives. That's why I was like, let's do this diet, because this diet I'm on is, I have to cook, that takes a huge amount of time, and I have to prepare everything myself, so there's no chemical additives. I know that will make me feel better. I know that the anxiety that I have about, I keep looking at my mother's health at this age, I'm just about 1 year exactly, as far as age-wise, from when my mother had a radical mastectomy. I keep looking at, like, she already had been losing teeth by my age. She already had, heart problems by my age. I keep getting that running through my head, this, anxiety type thing. And so eating healthier foods calms that anxiety, which then stops, some aspect of the depression. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then, the other thing is, of course, the coffee thing, which I found out last year, just blows my mind, because I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. I have learned to definitely tolerate coffee, because if I am having, which I've not been having lately, it's weird, also common, I was having sort of suicidal thoughts. Not really like suicidal, like I'm going to die, more like, oh geez, wouldn't it be great if I didn't have to deal with this stress, and that's one way. And literally that's what it is. And then I stopped having them in the process of the depression. It sort of lulls you into thinking, hey, things are actually pretty good. Those types of thoughts stopped. This is one of the things you've got to watch out for, especially if you get a sudden pull out of a depression, like you take medication or something like that, is that those thoughts that the depression sort of quelled will come right back, and suddenly you have the energy to do things. And that's why in a lot of cases they're like, oh, you go on this medication and it might actually cause you to be suicidal. No, that's not true. What happens is you're not so depressed that you can't even kill yourself, so now you've got some energy, so now you can finally do it. Yeah. Anyway, complete aside there is that I have discovered last year that by drinking coffee, this is just for me. I've never heard of it with anybody else, but then most people drink coffee. So it's not like a once in a blue moon type thing. Blue moon this year is on Halloween, by the way. Interesting. To me, probably not anybody else. But I've discovered that when I'm having those thoughts, and they're actually like annoying because they're just there, because I don't mean it, I don't think, like, it's not, sort of a legitimate thought. It's not something I actually want to do. It's just, this annoying thing. It's kind of like an earworm of a song in your head. I mean, really, truly. Drinking coffee stops them. For me. Don't know how that works. But anyway, so that's what I found out last year. And what I found out shockingly that this week, again, because I'm trying to distract myself. And I'm doing all these weird calculations that I would never do before. Like, for instance, this is going to sound weird, but I don't care. I'm doing this diet that is, among other things, don't eat bread. Because for the most part, if you buy bread and bread products, there's tons of chemicals in them, and I'm trying to avoid it. So, if you look at the list of ingredients in a loaf of bread, holy crap. Anyway, well, if you don't eat bread and carbs and simple carbs like that, there's a chance you're going to go into ketosis. And I just thought, well, wouldn't that be interesting? Let's look at this. So I, again, just because I'm like, this is something to do, got some ketosis strips. And sure enough, even though I'm mostly eating a vegetarian diet, I'm trying to have like an egg or two a day. I mean, that's pretty much all vegetables, right? That definitely I went into ketosis, which is weird, and that's another thing to distract myself. Let's check out this ketosis strip and see just how purple it gets today. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses. This is why I didn't really want to talk about this. Because it is a simple, stupid, it's kind of the same as like, what are those dumb games that you get on Facebook? Like that one where it's a little farm and you have to do all the little plants and things. It's like that to me. It's just something to literally distract myself. That, again, very super concrete. Here are the numbers. Let's see if they can have an effect. And isn't it interesting? Is it more or less than yesterday? By the way, I only got it to be like pink. It didn't get to purple, so I was pretty bad at trying to do ketosis on a vegetarian diet, which absolutely makes sense. But anyway, this is what happened. I decided to make a tagine, which is a Moroccan dish. That, I was in Morocco in February, and let's make this, I've had these spices, it's fantastic. So I made one, which is like, it's made out of carrots and potatoes and squash and chickpeas. So a lot of high sugar, starchy vegetables. And so I made this thing and I'm eating it, and I shouldn't toot my own horn, but I mean, I didn't put the spices together. I bought them in Morocco, and dang, it's a heck of a stew, and I really liked it. Anyway, so, and that's the other thing. You live by yourself, you make a stew like this, you eat it for days on end, right? Well, I suddenly realized I was feeling incredibly low, and no motivation, and glum, and down, and everything else, and I was like, what is going on? And then I remembered, oh yeah, I'm depressed. Duh, this is depression. Right? I mean, that's what happens. That's like the classic, this is what depression is. But then, the next day, I realized that eating all those starchy vegetables had knocked me out of ketosis. And suddenly my depression was much, much worse. And then, so I'm like, okay, I think that we're not going to eat these vegetables anymore. Let's go back to eating, a salad, and stuff like that. And I'm noticeably lighter in mood. I'm not out of my depression, but I'm not like stuck in the mire and sad and miserable and terrible and just dwelling on it. And I'm sure that I'm back into ketosis. And that's really strange. It's really interesting. That's a definite result. That that's something to keep in, for me personally, that is something that I really need to pay attention to and keep in mind, because there's no way that it's going to knock me out of depression, but it's something to keep in mind in the future when it happens again. As miserable as it is to get into ketosis, it's not fun. For me, that's something that I should probably try to do once I notice that I'm in depression, because it's going to lessen the effect of the depression on me and make it a little bit easier for me to get through it. So that's really interesting to me. It's probably not going to translate to anybody else. But the reason I wanted to make the video was that I wanted to give this as an example that you might find something that you never knew that suddenly works. So here's my cheesy motivational garbage. Basically, don't give up on looking. You never know. There might be something. And it might be something that simple. This works for me. I don't know why, because again, I don't have a brain chemical imbalance, so I don't know why food that I'm eating would affect me like that, but it's doing something to something in me. Maybe I'm just so low energy that I don't have the energy to be depressed. I don't know. But it's doing something for me. And, again, I'm going to repeat myself like 9 times because this is what I do. I just tried something new and tried something different and tried a different combination. I've been in ketosis before, the traditional way, trying to go on a diet and lose weight and, eat bacon and everything else, and never had this effect before. This is, how often does somebody go into a vegetarian ketosis anyway? I've heard of it, but who's that? My glasses are fogged. That might be Percy. I haven't seen him for a couple of days. He stays at other people's houses. He doesn't just stay with me. I don't know. Anyway, maybe it was a skunk. You never know. So, yeah. Just keep trying. Start with what kind of works. Like for me, I know that distraction helps me. So I'm going to distract myself. And I'm not going to judge myself, even though I am, clearly. But I'm going to try really hard not to judge myself about what kind of distractions I use. Basically everything is on the table. Everything is fair game. Let's try to find something, right? Something new, something, especially for the distraction. It's the newness of it. Please, I never thought this would work. Never thought it would work like this, that's for sure. And just don't give up. Start with what you know. I know that distraction works for me. Okay, so I'm going to just go with the distraction. I also knew that, eating fewer chemicals in my food just physically makes me feel better. Okay, even though my depression is saying just eat fast food. Ignore that and eat healthier food, because in the long run I'll feel better. Okay, so those were the 2 things that I started with, and this is the result. I found this totally accidentally. And so, yeah, that's how it's done. That's how it works. Suddenly something will work that you're like, God, it was in front of me this whole time. When that happens, don't say, oh, you idiot, you should have done this all from the very beginning. First of all, should is a terrible word, and nobody should use it, including yourself. Should. Nobody should use it. It's very judgmental. But that's beside the point. You know, you can always start over from zero again and again and again. And if you find something new that works for you, start over from zero at that point. Don't say, oh, well, look at these 40 days of everything totally sucked before I found something. Reset everything from the point that you actually did find something, and give yourself a break and just keep trying. And it is freezing out here. And the cat wants to go in, and I doubt you can see the stars. They're all over the place. And so I'm going to end this. And I'm really sorry if it bothered people, me talking about a diet and eating disorder and all that. I know it really, really is bad for some people. And it's also really super boring for a lot of people. But again, when it's something that simple and easy, where did he go? You know what? I think that my glasses are all fogged up because it's cold out here and my breath is not. Oh, he's right next to me. Oh my God. Okay. I need to stop this video if I'm being this lame. Okay, bye.